Yep. We are good, yep.
Are we rolling?
Yes, he's good.
No one on Zoom?
No one.
Good. Okay, at this time, I'm going to call this meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Trutchell.
Here.
Trustee Pfeiffer.
Here.
Trustee Myers. Trustee Walschlager. Here. Trustee Connor.
Here.
Trustee Hillquist.
Here.
President Pfannerstill.
Here. If you'd all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we are going to swear in Rachel Kennedy. Sorry. We can try to get it close so you can get pictures. Hopefully Ben can hear us. Will you please raise your right hand? I, Rachel Kennedy,
I, Rachel Kennedy,
do solemnly swear that I will support and comply
do solemnly swear that I will support and comply
with the Constitution of the United States of America,
with the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Wisconsin,
the Charter, laws, and ordinances of the Village of Hartland,
the Charter, laws, and ordinances of the Village of Hartland,
the rules and regulations of the Hartland Police Department,
the rules and regulations of the Hartland Police Department,
and the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics,
and the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of my office
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of my office
as police officer to the best of my ability, so help me God.
as police officer to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome to Hartland. This is for you.
Thank you.
We're very excited to have Rachel on board with us. She comes to us with 3 years of experience from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department. So she's well versed already in the area, and she's already hit the ground running, and we're very excited to have her on board with us. At this time, we're going to pin on her badge, and her fiance Frank is going to do so.
We'll know if you get her. There you go. The mic is yours.
Did you want to introduce your family, and then if you want to say anything, you're more than welcome to
Sure.
do so. If not, no worries.
So as he mentioned, my fiance Frank, and then next to him is Bella, Kenzo, Joanne, and then this is Lila, and then Miss Macy, and then this is my mom, Barb, and my dad, Jim. And I have two
Pleasure.
other sisters that couldn't make it.
Thank you for allowing me to come.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to everyone that came out. I really appreciate it, and I'm just looking forward to working here.
Welcome aboard. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, quite a few people end up leaving the room, so we'll just hold tight for a minute.
If we're done, some of them may come.
We won't expect everybody to stay for the whole duration of the meeting.
Is there cake?
There is.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, special occasion like this, we're able to take 15 minutes, go down and have cake, and then come back up.
At this time, we will have public comments for anyone that wants to speak. Please step towards the podium.
Hi, my name is Tom Trutchell. Most of you know me.
Address as well, please. Address.
424 East Capitol Drive. Lived in Hartland for 24 years, and Just wanted to address the board and also the citizens of Hartland. Recently at the hometown parade, I had used some poor judgment in hanging a flag that people took offense to, and rightfully so, based on their feelings, and I appreciate that. And the last thing I wanted to do is have that negatively affect the people of this village and the board. So I just wanted to offer my sincere apology for that day.
Anybody else that wants to speak? Step towards the podium.
I do.
Podium, just, yep.
Okay. Got it back there, sorry. Getting better.
Please introduce yourself and your
I
address.
will. It's on. New microphone, new, you know,
Yeah.
new swanky, whatever. My name is Joni Decker-Nold. I live at 120 Maple Avenue, Hartland, Wisconsin. I have lived in this community roughly 35 years. I am here today to bring up a subject that I have mentioned to, I would say, every single person that's up there, including you, Jeff, and whether you're Planning Commission trustee, I've called the police department. I'm not the only one. I'm going to talk about traffic and out of control driving, noise, things like that, especially on Merton, East Capitol Drive, Maple Avenue, going up into Hartridge, Oxford. It's all over the place. It started, well, it's always been, but I think it got worse during the pandemic. And then the movies Fast and Furious came out. And now there's all these, I'm going to say young men, but not always, that are driving around. They have the low to the ground cars, they're modified, and if the exhaust system's been modified, then it's not stock, it's not legal, and they can be ticketed or pulled over and say, hey, get it fixed. I don't know if that's happening, but on my street, and from talking to neighbors and people in the community, it's really bad, and it's really like ruining our middle-class neighborhoods. It's not just speeding, okay, because it's not always speeding. Sometimes it's stop quick at the corner if they stop, meaning East Capitol Drive, Maple Avenue, and then all of a sudden it's, we're just gonna gun it as loud, and I'm gonna do it, ready? As it leads far away up into Hartridge or down another street. I can be in my backyard gardening, and I'm like, what the heck is that? Sometimes I'm in the front or on my front porch, and I'll get a good description of a vehicle. And I'll be like, okay, I got the license number. I'll call the police department. I've called various trustees. They have instructed me to call the police. I call the police, okay? And the cops are like, yeah, you're right. Okay, we've got that. Unfortunately, we didn't see it happen. That's not okay. That's not acceptable, and that wasn't always the way it used to be. Because if you have a driver's license number and a very good description, the car is black, the guy was white, he was wearing sunglasses. It was at this time. You can look this person up, and if they live in Hartland, you can drive to their house and say, hey, we've had a complaint. Can we look at your vehicle? You need to stop doing this or we're going to give you a big ticket. So that's what I'm asking you guys to do today. And, you know, it's the tinted, dark tinted glass. How about the new ones are dark tinted plastic over the rear license plates? What's that for? To bring attention to the license number? No. So, again, not always speeding. Some of it is speeding. Some of it's just, I'll do it real quick, and by the time the cops come or whatever, I'm not going to be speeding anymore. So, if you look up in Hartridge and all over, you'll see signs, not just slow children, but how about the one that says not a racetrack? How about drive like you live here? Why do we have to put up with this? We're a community of what, 10,000 people? This isn't, I grew up in Milwaukee, but this is not Highway 100. I don't want it to turn into that. So I am begging all of you, and some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's do something about this. Let's make it a priority. Let's let people who are doing this know this is not okay. You know, if you really want to do it in your own driveway, and then chances are your next door neighbor will call the cops on you, right? I'm not talking about somebody on their way to work whose muffler falls off their car and they haven't had the money to fix it. You know what I'm talking about. They might be high school kids, I don't know. But I would truly appreciate it if this could become a priority on this board. Okay? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak? We will have our next item on the agenda, or first item, is consideration of village board minutes from the June 27th, 2022 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the village board minutes of June 7th, 2022.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the June 27th meeting. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. At this time, we have consideration of vouchers for payments in the amount of $352,138.80. That is different than the number that was originally on the agenda. I will turn it over to, for an explanation, please.
I just think the number is from the last meeting. The correct amount is the $352,138.80.
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers in the amount of $352,138.80.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the vouchers in the amount of $352,138.80.
Ryan, I have one quick question.
Yes.
The, under parks and capital outlay said concrete and brick specialist, the concrete installation for $9,000. Where was that?
That was budgeted under a capital account. Yeah, that was.
Where is the,
Well, I meant, where is the concrete? Where?
That
what-
was in front of the Fine Art Center stage. That was
Okay.
where the, if you recall, there was donor bricks.
Yep.
So we got rid of the donor bricks, we put colored concrete there, and we made 2 plaques with all the donors'
Okay.
names on it.
I just wanted to know where that was.
on
Thank you.
Either side of the stage.
Thank you very much, Dave.
You bet.
We're just making sure that the voucher amount was correct. We don't want to mess that one up. Okay. Now we have actions related to licenses. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, now I'm going too fast. Any other discussion on the vouchers? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have actions related to licenses and permits. We have the list of new bartenders' licenses. If you want me to read the list, I can, if you'd prefer. Otherwise, the list is in the packet.
I'll make a motion to approve 3A, the consideration of the operator's license is new.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the new bartenders' licenses. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have bartender license renewals. We also have that list in the packet as well. I can read the names if the board would like.
Motion that we approve the operator bartender license renewals.
I'd like to second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the renewal bartender operators licenses. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. The next item we have on our agenda is consideration of having staff book Bella Cain and Stetson and Lace for events related to 2023 hometown celebration.
I was asked to reach out to Stetson and Lace that we had this year on June 25th, Saturday, June 25th, to see if they would be willing to come back, just as an idea for next year's hometown celebration. They are available Friday, June 30th, and I was also asked to reach out to Bella Cain for Saturday, July 1st. If Bella Cain was to perform, they would be approximately $9,000 for that performance. If Stetson and Lace were to perform, they would be $3,000. There is some other requirements that we would have to take into consideration for Bella Cain, such as being able to park their tour bus, a truck, and a 40-foot trailer. We'd have to have a specific stage for them, 36 wide, 24 deep, with a clearance of 14. They have a big, huge Videotron, and we would have to make sure that they would have enough power, either 200 amps or a big, huge generator. Another concern that we have as staff is providing some type of shelter for them, because they will not play in the rain. They have to be protected. We didn't have enough time to come up with quotes. I did go over to Delafield. I ran into the chamber director because they were having Bella Cain play this past Friday. Their setup that they have is $8,000 to rent the stage and the tent. They had to kind of prop the tent up vertically and kind of pull the back down and a little on the side in case it did rain. And then they had other tents for like the food and for the beer. Faulkner also was present for their performance. And he also went to Big Bend to check them out on Saturday, and they had 100 by 200 foot inside the tent. So, yeah.
Yes, we brought this forward. Some trustees and citizens have kind of been looking to get a larger band. In order to book larger bands like this, we have to bring them forward early, because they do book up by September for next year. We don't have to do this. Again, we brought it forward because there's some desire to have a larger band for our hometown celebration. As Kelly laid out all day, we'd probably be looking at about $25,000 of expenses, whereas this year we had $4,500. So the two options essentially would be fundraising to get stage sponsors, tent sponsors, fireworks sponsors, everything like that. There are a lot of communities that do that and are very successful. That doesn't happen overnight. It does take a while. The alternative, if the fundraising doesn't go well, is that some of this would be used out of fund balance, or Kelly has some fund reserves in that would help pay for it. Again, this is just an option, but if the board has a desire, we can always get a different band. They don't have to be a Bella Cain or a Stetson and Lace, but in order to get those, you do have to book them early. So.
We know how many people attended the Delafield concert?
I believe Faulkner can.
I visited the city of Delafield Friday night, and I would suspect there was 3,000 to 5,000 people at that concert.
They easily said, I asked him what their average was, and he said thousands. They couldn't give me a number. They said thousands. They were at Menominee Falls this summer, and Menominee Falls told them expect 600 to 1,000, and they said we had well over 1,000. They're a very well-known band, and what's nice about them is they also help promotion. About 6 weeks to a month before the event, they would get together with us, and we'd work teamwork on the promotion of the event and everything. I believe even Delafield had a beer trailer, like a huge trailer of beer for the event too. I took a couple of pictures while I was there, and the chamber director said she raises about $25,000 for the event, but that didn't happen overnight. It was years of fundraising. But the sponsors do know they get their bang for their buck. And I have been going on other websites to see who the sponsors are for the other Bella Cain performances, and starting to reach out to other municipalities to get ideas and suggestions that they have.
Big time sponsors want to sponsor a band that travels like Bella Cain. Bella Cain travels all of Wisconsin and northern Illinois. When I went to see them on Saturday, because I wanted to see them in the big tent, Budweiser was their sponsor down there, so you will get some nice sponsors to sponsor a really good band.
The other part with the stage and the tent that we got, I would assume we would try and get it Friday, just have it for Friday and Saturday then, since Stetson and Lace.
Yeah.
If we're renting it, we might as well use it for both days unless there's a big price difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I did not get my quotes yet. I reached out to Area Rental because they provide the staging and tenting for a St. Matthias event this summer and for the Delafield event. And I said, I want exactly what you have for those two events. And I will be reaching out to Big Ben now that we know kind of what the idea is for that tent is, to get a quote for that. But she didn't give it to me yet.
I think sponsorships is a huge thing that we pass up on. I mean, even with on the smaller scale, I mean, we have no one that's that's a name, I mean, not even our local businesses are a name on the side of the stage where it's, you know,
Well, last year's Thursday Night Parks Band Series was sponsored by Freighted.
oh, okay.
That was the
And-
first year, yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess Kelly lost a connection or something for this year's. But what I'm thinking is if we can get a sponsor for the concert series next year, then obviously that money could go toward
Right.
that as well.
And I think that, and I just was throwing out in the, not towards anyone, but I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
areas where we really could
Oh, sure.
have sponsorships, you know, all of a sudden you give someone time where they're seen, you know, all of a sudden you get even bigger companies, but also companies that are right here in Hartland that want to get, you know, known a little bit. I think that it's possible to raise the money, and I think that if we want to swing and make it a really good, you know, hometown, it's already a really good, that was improperly said. If we want to make it bigger, where it's really fun, where everybody in Hartland actually stays here, and we get together and we all spend time together, I think creating events to get all of us together are important, and I think that this starts to get towards achieving that end. I think there's other things that we'll have to do along with it, but I think that this is a great start. I think this is a great start.
Do they have corporate sponsors that stay with them from one location to another?
The ones I've been seeing vary a little. They vary. They do have like, I believe it was Big Ben. They had like the mechanic, the little, not little, but the local businesses, and they also had like big sponsors. And then they had some big sponsors at Delafield that were a little different. Like every location did have different sponsorships.
A lot of times I see like FM 106 on all their stuff, something like that. So I'm sure, again, once you get into this level of a band that is that big and brings that many people, they probably have better opportunity to get some of those FM 106 because they want to get out and sponsor their name, and so.
So I would like to see it move forward to see if we can find some type of sponsorship to help on the cost, obviously.
Do you want her to wait and book them until this, I know, we can't wait, otherwise we'll lose them. So it's kind of,
What is the penalty for canceling on them once we book them?
I'd have to look at the contract. They know that I'm meeting with you guys today. Bella Cain basically said September 1st, they're booked by September 1st, but they do have us penciled in, both bands. But they do know that we're talking today, and they do understand that there is a process to it, especially Bella Cain. They said, go talk to your committee, go talk to your board, and get back to us. But
I feel
know-
very confident we'll be able to get those sponsorships. And then some others may not. I really think we're gonna be able to get them. I think it's even, and I think it gives enough time to be able to go to people locally to give them a first swing at things.
I have, it said it was 25,000 versus roughly 4,500 this year. This is 12,000, so the double is for the tents and everything, so another 12,000 just for the stage and tent.
It was 8,000 for the stage, and I know they were setting it up on Friday. I don't know if they had bands on Saturday too. I believe it was an all weekend thing, so I'm assuming they used that stage. But that was basically that stage and that tent. They had other things up there, but there's no indication that was that for that. She basically pointed and said, "This is $8,000 right here," because the tent had to go so higher up, vertical, to cover everything. That's had the cost go up.
We're also,
I just wanted to verify where the extra 12,000 was coming from.
during the budget process, we'll probably we're looking into tents, because we do have so many events, so we don't have a tent. We looked just for Stetson and Lace, and it was like $4,000 just to rent. You can buy some of these tents, I know it sounds like a lot of money, $20,000 but again, if it's something that we have and have large events that you could rent out or use, or, you know, I struggle with renting a tent and a stage. You know, the stage I understand, the chamber's always done it, we can talk with them. It's not cheap to rent those because it's the putting it up. I'm sure DPW would love.
Yes.
Speaking of that, give us a comparison of how big is the Fine Arts Center stage right now?
I believe it's I have the dimensions on my computer, of course. I'd have to go look at the dimensions. I think it's like 15 high, 30 feet wide at a certain point because it's kind of rounded. And then maybe 24, 25 feet deep. I believe that's kind of an idea.
Mr. Felkner, that 200 amp draw requirement, do we have that there, or would we have to rent a generator?
No, we have generators on site. We use them for our water and sewer utilities, so that won't be an issue.
Kelly, are we talking the tent coming off the Fine Arts Center to extend out that way, or a
I believe it would
standalone?
be a tent and a stage in the middle of the parking lot, like in the parking lot or on a field, weather permitting. It would be completely separate from the band shell with what
Okay.
I've been.
Staff talked about putting it closer to Park Avenue with the music going towards the railroad tracks to limit the noise. We're afraid of, if you put it down by the railroad tracks with the noise going to the houses. We're trying to be cognizant of pushing all the sound. Because there always is sound coming from the Fine Arts Center, but trying to push it away. Unfortunately, the Fine Arts Center, I'm not sure, is designed for a Bella Cain or Stetson and Lace. Lost child.
The acoustics in that is very bad. So there's not a lot that like to play there.
What we can do, whatever, I understand we have to move forward with advertising, and we don't have to decide this tonight, but I'd like to see us have Kelly wrap them up, because they have us penciled in, they have us locked in, and something has to give first. The amount of,
Mention how long we're penciled in for?
I'm sorry, what?
How long we're penciled in? I mean, let's say, hey, we'll give you 2 weeks.
They know
and
we're
you gotta-
meeting.
Okay.
But I'm sure they seem very understanding that if I talk to them, they would understand, like, hey, we just need one more board meeting. This was a lot to, I think they would understand. They seem very understanding.
So it also should be said, if we, and this isn't pushing it for tonight, if we do have, I believe both of these bands, we will always have first right of refusal for that same
Yes.
weekend, the following year.
Yes.
A little bit confusing because we always fall back. This year just happens to be July 1st. Next year it might be like June 24th, so we'll have to see, because I know Bella Cain just went to Wausau and had a festival that they may be tagged up there, so.
And I can ask them about that too, as well. Say, hey, next year it looks like it's going to be on this weekend. Would you be available?
We can always look at a Bodines and that, but those are like 25 to 40,000, so.
Bella Cain said that their performance is equivalent to a Nashville act for 50, 60,000. So
they're pretty good.
I
There's
think
no doubt about
Felkner
that.
can vouch for that.
They're pretty good.
And again,
Competition also. I mean, you got Pewaukee's coming up in 2 weeks, and they're getting a $25,000 gig with a person that's got a hit on the top 100.
Oh.
You know what I mean? We want to stay in the ballpark. But
I mean, it's definitely something we can, if you guys did decide to go forward, get the bid involved. I'm sure they would want to get involved because that would be bringing a lot of business to their businesses.
so if we don't have a motion, the appropriate thing, I mean, we could move on to announcements and let this roll, and have it put on another agenda, or if someone wanted to make a motion to say, hey, let's do this, so that we can get them wrapped up. I think that you're gonna get sponsored, you're gonna get people, all you're gonna get are sponsors that are like, well, see if you get them, and then, yeah, we'll let you know. That's what I think that's what you're gonna run into. Because no sponsor wants to say, yeah, and then all of a sudden it's a different band, they're like, I'm not on for that. When you say, yep, we called them, we're locking it in, we have them, you're gonna get much more of a response where they're like, yeah, I'll put 10 up for that, in my opinion.
We've got a lot of time to plan and get sponsors and jump on it.
So, to move forward now, or would you prefer we wait? I suppose we don't have a motion, so I really shouldn't.
I personally would prefer to wait just to do a little bit more homework. I mean, that's my personal opinion, from a financial standpoint, but, I mean, I think it's something to consider. I think it'd be great, but I think we just need to do a little more due diligence and.
What do you want the staff to look for?
Well,
Like Ryan's looked into tents, the prices and that kind of stuff, but just so that staff knows what they're gonna go and
well, like I
look
said, a
for.
good point here is the bid. If we present to them, are they able and what can they do? And then when we come back, at least we know we got some financial backing already to help fund
See,
some of it.
Now with that, their budget isn't set until December, so I don't think, same thing. That's the hard part for us. That's why we're bringing it, because our budget isn't set.
The bid itself won't be able to give anything. The bid businesses may be able to give something. You know, like we have it in
Right.
Hartland.
So let me ask you a question in regards to the whole hometown thing. There's a lot of donated money for that hometown, for the parade and for the fireworks and all that. Do we come out, how much is the village paying for that? I mean, how much of it is donated money and how much is,
The fireworks isn't covered by any money. That's all
Okay.
village.
okay,
That's $17,500.
okay.
The parade was approximately $16,000. Does that sound right? 16 or 17,000 in expenses. And we get back probably about 15 or 60. We're about $1,000 negative on that. That is also with the village contributing $4,500 to. We've always done that, contribute $4,500 to the parade every year. And then the concert series this year, obviously we hired Stetson and Lace. We were gonna have the car show, the bags. We had a
Weather.
great weather day. So there's that cost. But we've never pushed for a fireworks sponsor. We've never pushed for a Friday night, Saturday night band, like a huge, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, and I think Rick is probably thinking, I mean, I'm thinking the same way Rick is where I don't want taxpayers to be paying for these bands. Okay, so if we can come out, you know, ahead with the sponsors, and that's why I asked you how much, you know, the village was donated and how much we got back from the parade and stuff. So, I mean, I think you're right. I think a big band would generate a lot of sponsorships.
and that's the hard part is we have to book the band before we can get the sponsors with something like this, because it is so far in advance.
We can
And that's why we brought it to you.
We can also think of beer sales too, because, you know, talk to Beer Garden, obviously Pat enters, but I'm sure if we have thousands of people, that's something, the revenue of that could also be put towards that. See if our local organizations would be willing to help us out, and whatever we make can go towards that. That's just an idea.
Kelly, could you also look up the cancellation fee for us? If we were to-
I would have to look closer to the
Right,
contract.
Right, if you could look that up, I'd
Okay.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
And the timing, of what kind of timeline we have to give them if we had to cancel.
okay.
Announcements?
Jeff, do we need to think about what date we need to commit to this by? Kelly, you said earlier, they've got us penciled in hard, I guess, till September? Early September?
I would feel,
Or not that long?
They have us, their whole next year is set by September 1st. We told them, can you give us through today? Like Kelly said, I'm sure we could say, could you give us till the 25th?
There's no guarantee on that, though.
Correct.
They could say, no, we got someone that said they want to sign up tomorrow morning if we didn't say yes.
If that's the case, there are other bands. Cain is just, they're a popular band right now that gets a large drawing. That's the only reason we had brought that one forward.
Great band.
And we may not want to go this route. This is all part of just trying to make the weekend more exciting. It's just.
And that's the direction we've been trying to take this, right? I mean, that's our
Yep.
goal, is to continue to grow this and make it a bigger thing, and this is this is a great step towards doing that. I agree, Tim, I'd make a motion right now, but my concern is that if it all goes sideways and it falls on the tax dollars, that's not what we want. So if we can make a motion that somehow protects that, then I would definitely support it, but I don't know.
So I pulled up a sample contract Kelly got late in the week. It says this contract cannot be canceled by the customer after the date 120 days before the performance date. So it looks like they give you about 3 months without the written agreement of the band. If customer cancels before that time, the deposit will not be refunded, but payment of the performance fee will be due. If customer cancels after that time, the payment of full performance fee will still be due. So you have 3 months before to cancel.
How much is the deposit?
That's what else I'm trying to find. They have zeros in this, so I don't think they've worked that out. So that's something we can find out from them as well.
Better knowing that we could cancel the thing upwards of 3 months before the event. I think, I'm gonna make the motion because I think this is something we should do and we should pursue further. And I understand the cart ahead of the horse situation that we're in. But if we want to get bands like that, that's what we're gonna have to do. But I think that we need to continue to push to drive towards sponsorships and get that moving quickly in order to make sure we're covered so that we had time to cancel if it doesn't work the way we want it to. So I'll make a motion. I would make a motion that we book Bella Cain and Stetson and Lace for the events related to the 2023 hometown celebration, as long as we get on sponsorship immediately.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to book these bands with their cancellation policy and see what we can do about sponsors. With it being discussion. Whoever made the motion gets the first chance at the floor if needed. Seconder? No?
I have a discussion. If, once we do our homework and find out what is the penalty for canceling, before the 120 days, I would like that known before we sign a contract. Would that, okay.
I think that'd be fair.
Yeah, I think that I'm fine with that.
I think that that's fair. I mean, I would be totally fine with that. Along with that, I think by getting them and being able to tell people, hey, we have them, for myself, tomorrow, the bid meeting is tomorrow. This is all part of discussion. I'm just saying, the bid meeting is tomorrow, so I will notify them. Obviously, Ryan will as well, but letting them know any in that they have with anybody, and obviously, any of you here that know of business owners, let them know so that we can come up with a structure so that everybody can get a chance to be part of that. I mean, I see we have the Avalon Graphics owner is sitting right here. If they may want to have something hanging in that tent, we need to figure out, are we gonna, what are the different, sponsorships that we're gonna have? Obviously, some of them have to be really big. Huh?
No free sponsorship.
But how much would that cost? Can you have a banner?
$1,000 now.
Can you have a banner, and how much is it? Those are things that we'll have to get worked out.
Well,
What the deposit is, correct?
yes, but before we sign the
sign.
contract with Bella, okay, so that way, I mean, she could go ahead and find out if it's let's say it's $1,000 or whatever. So then they need to tell us, and then staff can make that decision, as far as I'm
Okay,
concerned.
I just want
mean, if it's
clarification there.
minimal amount, $1,000 is fine, but if it's like 10,000, then I don't know if I would agree to it, but.
And that's how I kind of
Well,
want to see it. I want to do due diligence here.
Should I amend the motion and say, as long as it doesn't exceed $2,000 or whatever the number is that we're all agreeing with, would you guys?
Well, you could do that, but I don't want to tie their hands. If let's say it's 2,500, now what do they do?
At that point, we would ask Bella Cain to, hey,
off for
can we
2
come back
weeks.
to the July?
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
So my understanding is you want me to have them put numbers in their contract, bring the contract back, and say, okay, we want to move forward.
No, what they're gonna do is Bella Cain's gonna send you over the contract to sign. We're gonna see what the amount is, should we cancel early. I think Mr. Pfeiffer is gonna amend his motion here to give us that number.
Okay.
If that number is $1,500 deposit and they want $1,800,
Tim was saying that he wants staff to make that decision, that it's a.
He said
it's a
1,000.
nice-
I'm saying if it's over that amount, we would bring it back to the board
Yeah.
on July
Got it.
25th.
Bella Cain would have to wait 2 more weeks for our next
Yep.
board meeting. Okay, so I'll amend my motion to say that I'd like to make a motion that we book Bella Cain and Stetson and Lace for the events related to the 2023 hometown celebration, with the understanding that if their cancellation fee is over $2,000, it comes back to the board for approval.
Second.
Okay, that's the motion that's on the floor. Any other discussion on it?
Good with those stipulations.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
That motion is carried. We have announcements.
Just a couple things from the firehouse. Last month, again, 108 calls that we ran, so 2 months in a row we ran 108 calls. We're already up to 33 calls this month, so we are cooking. We are cooking. Other than that, everything is going pretty well otherwise.
Good.
Just a reminder, Captain Stacy Kelsey's last day will be August 2nd, so coming up here soon. On August 2nd, we'll be having a get-together in the community room at 11 a.m. for anyone who wants to come and wish her best regards in leaving. We also have had notice for a vacancy with her departure for a lieutenant position in our department. There was only one officer who put in for it, and that's Officer Conrad Saboniak. He'll be meeting with the Police and Fire Commission tomorrow evening, and depending how everything goes, his name will either be recommended or not recommended to move on in the process. So that's all we have at the police department.
Thank you. DPW?
I will inform you that our paving project has been delayed. There was a slight injury with the company, so Highland and Tenney might not get paved until, I'm sorry, Tenney and the Woodlands might not get paved till early next week. But they are still on schedule to do concrete work in the back administration parking lot on July 29th. And this parking lot will be closed for 2 weeks. They'll do the concrete work, then they'll mill all the asphalt out, and then they'll dig out the soft spots and then pave it. So this parking lot, as of July 29th, will be closed for 2 weeks.
Rec? Nada?
I'm trying to think. Twang Dragons will be there this Thursday at Thursday Night Concerts. Other than that, just working on the fall program guide, which I'll probably be putting sponsorships in. So, basically just gathering all that information up, and working on the fall guide, and what's up?
Trustees with announcements. Clerk, finance, manager, sorry. Oops, forgot, not used to that yet. I can't think of, I don't have any announcements. I sit up here thinking like I have to have one. I don't have any announcements. The bid meeting's tomorrow if you'd like to come.
I make a motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned.
So what is it?